You can consider this Mike Byrne Goes to the Jungle.
Those were up, and they did.
We're smart, and my...
He told me enough.
No, I.
Here's Chuck.
Hey everyone, it's Don J. Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review. And this movie review is going to be for the second film to come out this year in 2023, and it's for the first action movie of 2023. And yeah, it's another one of those Gerald Butler films. And this film is going to be for none other than 2023's Plane. This was a film that I think I saw the trailer for last week or something like that. Either last week or in December. So I knew nothing much else about it. Except for just being another Gerald Butler film. Anyway, what's the plot of this? Well, Brody Torrance saves his passengers from a lightning strike by making a risky landing on a war-torn island, only to find that surviving the landing was just the beginning. When most of all the passengers are taken hostage by dangerous rebels, the only person Torrance can count on for help is Louis Gaspar, an accused murderer who is being transported by the FBI. In order to rescue the passengers, Torrance will need Gaspar's help and will learn that there is more to Gaspar than meets the eye. So how was this film made? Well, on July 2016, Mad River Pictures acquired The Plane, an original pitch from novelist Charles Cumming, with Mark Burton and D. Bonaventura Pictures as Lorenzo D. Bonaventura and Mark Van Duren announced as producers. In October 2019, it was reported that Gerald Butler had joined the cast and would also produce alongside Alan Siegel. Then in November 2019, Lionsgate Films then acquired distribution rights to the film, but in November 2020 it abandoned the project after failing to obtain production insurance that would cover a COVID-19 outbreak, so the studio did not want to risk the film's $50 million budget, and so listed studios acquired the rights to the film. But in May 2021, Lionsgate reacquired the rights to The Plane, and what Andreas Weissman from Deadline Hollywood described as a case of high-profile Hollywood volleyball. Then in August 2021, Kelly Gale, Mike Coulter, Daniela Pineda, Yolzan An, Remy Adelic, Alec Hecking, Leela Crook, Joy Stolik, and Oliver Trevinan joined the cast. Production began the same month in Puerto Rico. On a podcast, Coulter said the film was going to focus more on character development than action sequences. Then in October 2021, it was reported that filming was close to finishing and that Tony Golan and Paul Ben-Victor would also star. So after the movie was mysteriously shot and marketed and knew nothing much about, Plane was released today in the United States on January 13, 2023, this weekend, on Martin Luther King weekend, and has so far received mixed to positive reviews from critics and filmgoers. Now when it comes to my reaction, well, let me say first, I do enjoy Gerald Butler as an actor. He's fine. I mean, there's some films from him I've liked. I liked 300. I liked Gamer. Yes, I know a lot of people hated Gamer. I personally kind of enjoyed it. Mostly his scenes anyways. Law-Abiding Citizen could have been better without the shitty ending, but the rest of the movie was okay. I do also enjoy his voice acting in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. And I also did like Greenland. Probably one of the few better disaster films. And one of the few good films of 2020 we still got to have on streaming. So yeah. His previous good film was Greenland, easily. Now when it comes down to this film, I thought it was kind of good for a January release action film. First we had Megan, and now Plane, and next week Missing. What's up with January this year? Usually it's meant to be the dump month where all the flops go to be out of the way of studios as they prep for the better seasons. Heck, maybe I'd call this somewhat of a better version of Rambo 5 even. I don't know. I feel like this would have been a better Rambo 5 instead of some wannabe taken knockoff. Now, I didn't mind Last Blood, but I do agree it didn't really feel like a Rambo movie, and it wasn't really needed. But like we could have had they could have had the whole final few minutes of this movie felt like a more proper Rambo 5 here. Like Gerald Butler knows his strengths like the back of a bad guy's broken neck, and he seldom flexed them sometimes better than does here. Like he became one of the 21st century's Hollywood's few bona fide movie stars by embracing the fact that he was so obviously born to be a late 20th century movie star. It's enduring to watch him inspire competent schlock that's willing to match this dirty punch for punch. Like playing is intense when it's supposed to be tense, recklessly violent when it needs to deliver the gore. Like it's been a minute since you've seen a bad guy's body get and muscles by heavy artillery like it does here. And CGI is just strong enough to clinch on for dear life during a third act that can afford some dodgy looking effects. The supporting cast even adds to the project's general era credibility, like Cowboy Bebop actress Daniela Pineda adds some winsome flair to her thankless role of a flight attendant. Long breakout Yusun An makes for a sweetly developed co-pilot. The ever-recognizable Joey Stolick does fine work as the token most annoying passenger in the world, while Tony Goldwyn and Paul Ben Victor anchor the airline's crisis response with immaculately cruelty during the scenes they share in a New York boardroom. Al Filipino stuntman and fight coordinator Evan Dane Taylor probably won't inspire any glowing odds to Southeast Asian representation for his performance as the murderous pirate leader whose livelihood depends on kidnapping white foreigners for ransom money. But the guy looks great on screen though, and excludes the clenched story of villainy that's needed to sell a movie like this. A bit of a misogynist with a streak of messiah complex, like Torrance could be cynically dismissed as little more than a dad-bod Rambo trapesying through the Southeast Asian jungle with rifle in hand as he selflessly classes at the villain's trigger-happy vocals. But there's something about the lead character's stoic presence here, like with every wheezy and wrinkle in full view, that it kind of has you thinking that maybe something deeper is going on here, something just outside the tropes of an action movie. Like, it ain't Shakespeare, but if the bread and butter of movies of Butler's career, where is it? Complexity, entertaining, and as plausible as plain, you might get a little more respect here. Like, plain is as efficient, economical, and effective as its title, which is a good one, actually. Like, clear, descriptive, communicates what the film is about. The characterization of the screenplay by Charles Cumming and J.P. Davis is led to the point of scanty, but we're given just enough to suffice. Any more would be overkill. Much like the aircraft itself for the majority of plane, this talk thriller remains grounded and gritty, and once we're on land, Puerto Rico, something for the Philippines, offers a sense of texture and realism for the human setting. Like Rickett methodically strings the tension, alienated with bursts of chaotic violence, showing us that Blonde is capable of both method and madness. Sometimes it's carefully orchestrated and silent extraction of hostages. Sometimes it's brutal, bruising brawl as Brody wrestles an assailant into submission after in a single handheld take. Butler's fighting style is similar to the film's, brawny, unshowy, effectual, and explosive only when necessary. There's little subtlety to Plane's characterizations and even less subtext to its narrative. As written by Charles Cumming and J.P. Davis, Richard's film was a no-nonsense programmer. Think like Flight of the Phoenix Cross with Die Hard, that's all brawny surface still. As he demonstrates in films like Olympus Has Fallen, Geostorm, and Den of Thieves, Butler has a knack for fitting himself snugly into familiar form resident and leaving them through a combination of charisma and conviction. And Torrance is kind of this two-dimensional good guy, and a man of action who always maintains a level of head, does what's necessary and right in moments of adversity, and puts the safety and innocence ahead of his own, all while still loving his family. Like he's in every He-Man cut from an archetype cloth, and Butler plays him with such sincerity, toughness, and smarts, and it's impossible not to instinctively root for him. Like Butler and Coulter make for engaging co-leads too. Like, with Coulter, though, I kind of wish the latter had more to do. Like, Gaspar reluctantly helps Torrance and remains self-interested, but he's never antagonistic enough to become a full anti-hero. Instead, the character receives no more than a few lines of backstory and an open-ended story arc. Like, charismatic as Luke Cage in Netflix's now-defunct Marvel shows, thanks to Disney, Coulter has star power written all over him. Like, here's hoping Plane is a building block to something more sustainable. Like elsewhere, Butler does stand as a tough pilot, and Torrance alludes to flying in the RFA, and here and there probably learned to fire a machine gun. The screenplay wisely avoids turning the character an ex-Special Forces hero thrust into an impossible situation. Like, Torrance is simply this brave pilot, a widower with a daughter waiting at home, and a professional with a dogged sense of responsibility to save his passengers. There's not much need for gradation with these characters, partly because Butler and Coulter have screen presence to spare, Rinkett allows the situation, dialogue, and the actors' committed performance to drive the story forward. The tension level of the film was great, and the early segments in the plane did a great job of showing the routine of a pilot and also ramped up the tension. Like, I could be a nervous passenger when a plane gets into bad weather at times, like, or if plane gets into kind of a bad situation. Like, I've been on flights myself, guys. So I could obviously know how that probably feels. But you can definitely feel the anxiety here. Like, during the detail sequences of the flight being in peril as well. Like, the action film was very engaging, as were the characters, as they were easy to pull for despite not having much in the way of backstory and character development. And there were some great kill shots and other moments of crowd-pleasing violence that make playing an absolute romp. The film's biggest takeaway, though, one of the film's biggest takeaways, is at which Butler steers the ship or plane, and the role of Brody is tailored well towards Butler's strengths, like Scottish and terrific humor with a penchant for the heroics. His character he knows well and has played convincingly in a number of films. There's kind of a self-awareness of Butler's performance that serves the film and audiences very well. He knows exactly what type of movie this is and what is needed for him to optimize our entertainment. His steady presence in a formulaic film, who guides us through the plot, knows exactly what beats to hit and when. Doing so with precision, I say with the greatest sincerity. Maybe it's time to give credit to Butler for what he offers, regardless of how singular that may be. In fact, I really hope Butler ends up joining the ranks of all those other legendary action stars as one of the best action stars of the 21st century. Considering some hits he's already done. Now, does the movie have still bad qualities though? Yeah. As for the bad qualities, the passengers are kind of drifting characters, grounded slowly by Torrance's determination to save them. When trouble befalls them, it's hard to care much because there's so little personality they're invested in. It's even unclear why Torrance is so hell-bent on protecting them. Beyond his basic obligation as a compassionate human being, does he have a savior complex because of his wife's passing? Maybe, but this film isn't even interested in getting you to learn said wife's name, much less how she died. As a result of some characterization shortcomings, the film tends to lag in its second act, moments that would have been perfect to understand who Brody and Lewis are as individuals outside their current circumstances really happened. It introduces some pacing issues that are too obvious to ignore. Still, plenty of compelling moments follow with brutal scenes that to showcase just how dangerous their situation is. Given these various shifts in pacing and flaws within how certain characters are written, the viewing experience for playing isn't really entirely balanced, but it's satisfying enough to be a pleasant surprise for audiences. And I feel like the bittersweet ending was a little abrupt because I would have liked to see a scene where his daughter actually does reunite with him. He does make a phone call saying he's coming home, stuff, but I would have liked to see that in person. I would have liked to see his daughter reunite with him and stuff. I wanted to see more about Coulter's character. I wanted to see the prisoner guy, what happened to him after the movie. Saw a little more of him. Because I feel like he was underused. He was kind of an interesting character, and they kind of underused him a lot. Wanted to know more about that guy besides just being this homicide accused prisoner. But hey, well, I wish anyways. But however, in the end, despite the bad qualities, Plane is definitely a must-watch and buy for Gerald Butler fans. It seems like Gerald is going to be joining the list of famous action stars icons up there with Sly, Arnie, and among others. I would definitely recommend watching this and buying this movie for sure. And I don't think it's really going to make a lot of money at the box office because knowing how much Megan made last weekend, I can bet you this isn't even going to. Megan's still going to probably be in top second place, probably for quite a bit. For some time anyways. Well, that's an Avatar the Way of Piss. Are probably going to be the top two runners for a pretty long time until February. Missing is coming out, but Searching didn't really... But its predecessor Searching didn't even make much money either. I don't really see Missing making big box office numbers either, so... But yeah, anyways. But anyway, guys, that's it for my review of Plane. If you're wondering how I'm going to rank Plane, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, I feel like Gerald Butler. I want to see him do more epic stuff. Then I would easily watch this and then buy it and add it to your shelf for sure. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Plane, I am going to give Plane an 8 out of 10. There we go. That wraps up my review for Plane. That's 2 movies down in 2023. 1 more movie to see this month. And that's, of course, obviously going to be Missing next week. aka the standalone sequel to Searching, which, by the way, guys, Searching is my favorite found footage movie of all time. But I like to call that movie Unfriended, done the actually right way. But yeah. It's like, hopefully, well, I hope Missing ends up being good. We might have one of the few good Januaries out there. That doesn't suck. Hopefully the rest of the year cannot suck. Until then, guys, that'll be it for this review. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.